I'm Megan Waldrop, host of the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast, an extension of an online community for partners to connect and feel less alone. Our podcast invites fishermen, family, friends, and supporters of the industry to learn, laugh, vent, and hear stories about this incredibly unique way of life. What do you say? Let's dive in. Hey, POCFs. I don't know about you, but I feel like my head is spinning, but I feel that I do have more clarity about everything going on. Not everything. What am I talking about? More confidence moving forward when it comes to planning and budgeting in a commercial fishing household. You know, we don't know what it's going to be like from season to season, day to day. Honestly, we don't know what the catch is going to be like. It's really, really exciting when they come home and it's like, woohoo, we got this huge haul. And man, you start dreaming about all these incredible things you want to do with that money. And then reality sets in of, okay, what do we actually need to do so we can feel this buoyant and this light, even when seasons are feeling a little stressful? Because that happens, you know, and those lessons, they come hard sometimes. But, you know, when those seasons are hard, it really forces us to figure out what the F our next steps are, but also to be calm within our nervous system and to know that it's going to work out no matter what. And if you get through that season, you're going to get through the next one. And let me tell you, you're going to get through it. I don't know where you are currently financially or anything like that, but there are ways to get through it. And I'm going to share two more opinions from POCFs. I asked them in our private group chat. I said, hey, what would you all recommend? What do you do when seasons are kind of cray-cray? You know, what is your go-to? What do you do first? So I'm going to dive in and tell you what they said. One of our members said, I always worked part-time when the kids were little, and now I'm full-time. We have a small orchard to take care of the ranch expenses, and my chicken business pays for vacations. When shiz really hit the fan in 2016, this is a California POCF, with domoic acid closure, I went through every expense and slashed TV, Netflix, magazines, and gym membership to get our expenses down so we could live off my income. I've supported the house solidly for the past couple of years. In 2023, her fisherman had a medical emergency the first day of season, and then the other fishery he works in was closed for the season, and there was also boat maintenance was an issue. So, you know, all the stuff happened. Of course, when it rains, it pours sometimes. That's how it is. She said eventually they replenished the boat account and put the rest in savings and continue to live on her earnings. Her fisherman just started getting Social Security, so she banks part of that. And with that, she added back the TV and the cheapest Netflix package. And when it comes to financial investments, they invest in their 401k, stocks, and IRAs. And she said they have an appointment next week with their financial advisor. And I love that they diversified in different ways. So if you listen to Jenny Gore-Dwyer's interview, the past 2 episodes, such a great interview, by the way. If you haven't, you got to check it out. It was really interesting to hear how they put money into the fishing business. And in the first part of the series, which I guess was 3 episodes ago now, I talk about a POCF, Maureen Marankovich, who discusses all this. She even mentioned, she said there's 2 types of fishing partners and commercial fishermen. One that I invest into the fishing business, and the others that diversify into stocks and all that and that kind of thing. And I love to see how people do it differently. And also, you know, not every fishing couple has joint accounts. And I say that because that's me and Chris. We don't have a joint. Well, we have one joint account. Well, I guess we have a couple joint home accounts, but we definitely have our own checking accounts. And I do that for my own peace of mind because I don't want to wig out if he buys something, and I don't want him to wig if I go do something. And that has just worked for us. What has worked for us in the past too is we split percentages into paying for bills or household expenses instead of splitting the exact cost. So for example, like his lobster check is a lot bigger than my writing checks as of now, but you know, I'm sure that will pass one day, but in the past it has been significantly larger. And so instead of me having all of my money drained, we did equal percentages, and that's how we were able to bring our money together. So it's equal percentage of money taken out of each checking account, or each paycheck goes into this collective joint account. So we're each out the exact same percentage and not one person paying, I don't know, several $1,000s, which is a drop in the bucket to one. And maybe the other one's like, whoa, what the hell? It's like all my money. So I digress, but that is something that we've done that's been helpful. Reading financial books has been really helpful to figure that out too. And, no matter what, there's no wrong way to do it. It's just what way feels best for you. And it's a way that makes you feel like you're not on edge, I guess is the best way to say it. And so, all right, I'm going to go back on to our second private chat member. And this is a POCF out of Canada. And she said, we are lucky that fishing is still our sole source of income. At the BC Young Fishermen's Network, we brought in banks and advisors who are able to talk to fishers about ways to access capital, how to do better books to make sure you're making the best decisions, and etc. She said, I always find that stuff valuable. And in Canada, there's been a recent change that you can use your license as collateral. She said, which was never really a thing until recently. And banks seem to be getting more on board with how fishing businesses work in that way. They also created a directory of businesses that work with fishers so new people can find a good fit and with somebody who understands our industry. And I will put a link for the BC Young Fishermen's Network in there. And also, I believe fishing partnerships, I think also have some resources, and I'll put their links in as well. I'm sure some Alaska groups do because Alaska's on lock, and Maine as well. I'm going to scour and see what I find, and I'll put in the links for the ones that, have active links to things. But really, you know what it is? It's talking to people. I asked Jenny Gore-Dwyer when I interviewed her, I said, what's been most helpful? What's a resource, like an outside resource besides having your, accountant and bookkeeper and the people that were on her team managing? She said it was talking to other partners, like asking them how they did it. Like, what do you guys do? It's just what we're doing right now on the podcast. What we've done the past several series of these podcasts is just talking about it, talking about money, seeing how it works with others, and then seeing what works for you. That's what's going to be helpful. And offhand, this is not financial advice. Of course, like I said, I want to be a disclaimer real quick and say that I'm just presenting the viewpoints, and I'm not here to say that this is one way is the correct way or this is the other. I'm not endorsing either. I don't want to take responsibility for it because I know that you're going to do the best that you can and you have the best judgment for what's going on in your life. So I just want to disclaimer that because I too am figuring things out. I was talking with somebody the other day. He's a retired businessman, not in commercial fishing, but we were just chatting away. And I asked him, I said, so have you ever been in a situation where money was tight? I mean, I was like, people in our community, that's a big issue for us. What would you recommend? He's like, I'm not a financial advisor. I'd recommend getting other people to answer that. However, he did bring up a point that I totally forgot about. I mean, for example, if you're in need and you're able to manage your money, getting a line of credit against your home or with your house, along with your house. And then like the BC Young Fishermen, when they were talking to the banks and all the people were talking to them, it's, they were able to use their license as collateral. And of course, if you're going to move forward with that, definitely discuss it with your financial advisor. And also, talk to yourselves. Are you able to take on something like that? Because otherwise you could be in a bigger hole. However, this could be a way to help if needed. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. However, when he said that, I thought, oh yeah, we do have some, like if we were in, I don't know, if something were to come up, yeah, the line of credit for the home, that did ring a bell in my head. I was like, oh, okay. So that'll be a last resort. However, that's an option. Now, okay, are we going to talk about borrowing money from family? Because it's such a sketchy thing, right? I mean, sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. A lot of times it is. And it's not just the power exchange. I'm not saying that in an ego way. I'm saying that in a way where family dinners become more, you're feeling guilty because you haven't paid them back yet. Or maybe they throw out a side comment and you're like, oh, wow. The money's there. That money tension is between us. Or maybe they want to be more involved in the business or whatever they gave you money for. Now they kind of act like they are a part of it. that's when that's when shiz gets weird, right? So yeah, the family thing, I think that's like friends or family. We have I've had experience with both, and well, not with friends, but family, and we have since switched gears, and we're able to pay that family member back, and now we just have to pay the bank back with our mortgage, and it's great. But honestly, yeah, it felt so much better to just have that relationship be just that relationship and not worry about, oh my God, we haven't paid it back yet, the loan back. And, we're going to see this person at the next family reunion. And, okay, how are we're caught up with our payments, right? Okay. Did it, like all that stuff, like that sucks. However, I'm not saying like, don't do that. If that's like one of your only options and you have that option, that's, how great to have another option. However, just speaking from personal experience, it can get freaking weird, for lack of a better term, if you will. So yeah, basically, if you need to cut some dough or get some dough quickly, slash those subscriptions. I love that. Totally, slash those subscriptions. I mean, how many of there are hanging around that you don't even know about, really? And get down to brass tacks. Have those awkward but for real conversations with your partner. Like I mentioned in the first episode that we were talking about Fishy Money. Set aside time to discuss, a day and a time. Put that timer on your phone and then use that period of time to get down to it. And then just once you figured it out, then you can walk away and move on with your life and move on with that next step. Assess your bank accounts, what's going on. And then, yeah, just look at the numbers. I feel like when you don't look at the numbers, that's when it gets really scary. And it's like, oh my God. But if you really get down to it, you're like, okay, all right, this is what it is. This is a number. This isn't my value as a person. This is just a number that we need to figure out. And there are ways to figure it out. Hopefully these past episodes have been helpful. Of course, there's a million other things that we could talk about. And like I said, I'm really actively trying to bring on people that can talk about investments and financial experts that actually know more about the stuff than I do. And if you have any recommendations, I'd love to hear them. You can email me at support@pocfpride.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at megan.waldrip, and I'd love to hear it. So, yeah, money, right? I hope there was some clarity here. If anything, it was some inspiration and more on this subject. We're not done yet. We're just putting a pin in it for now. So thank you all so much for listening to the podcast. As always, I want to know how I can support you, and you know how to reach me. I really appreciate it. And if you want to join our private chats, because if you want to get active advice from members who have been there, done that, bought the boat engine, repainted the bottom, did all that stuff, we'd love to have you in our private group chat. You can learn more if you go to POCFpride.com. There's a section in the menu that says private communities. Click down on private group chat. You'll learn all about it. And it's just a great way to connect and ask questions, business questions, relationship questions, sharing photos of your kids. I mean, it's great, but it's so nice to just have a built-in group of friends. Honestly, they become your friends, a built-in group of friends that you can text when you need us. And we're there, we're there when we can be. And let me tell you that group chat is very active. So we'd love to have you, as I said. So without further ado, thank you so much for listening today and always being here. We would not be a community without you and your support. And I'm actively calling for sponsors. We are looking for sponsors to help support this community and to help you get in front of an incredible audience and to see what kind of products that you have that will help us. That would be amazing. We want to help share that, have a reciprocal relationship, and keep this community thriving as it needs to be, because we ain't going anywhere. I mean, Partners of Commercial Fishermen, like, hello, we're here. We have to be here at this point. Like, there's no turning back, y'all. So let's just build this baby up, So if you have any recs, or if there's any sponsors out there who want to get their products or services in front of our incredible audience, you can email me at support@pocfpride.com. I'd love to share what we got in store, what we have to offer, and I want to learn what you have to offer our community. Number one, what do you guys have to offer our community that will be helpful? And yeah, we got so much goodness in ours. So can't wait to share that with you if you're interested. So thank you all so much for being here. And I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. Till next time. Thank you so much for listening. To support our community, I'd so appreciate it if you'd tap the subscribe button to this podcast or write a review. And if you're a POCF who wants to connect further, go to POCFpride.com for weekly blogs and to learn about opportunities to join our private communities. We'd love to have you.